A meteorological from the Italian Air Force Meteorological Service analyzed this extreme weather as a resulting from the unusual collisions between warm Mediterranean air and the cold front moving south from northern Europe. He noted that climate change is increasingly the frequency of such patterns. Forecaster Luca Perry stated, intense convective activity is occurring frequently, warning that storm could hit neighboring areas over the next few days. The hailstorm also caused delays at Rome Florence airport, with several incoming flights temporarily diverted. City workers that become clearing clothing drain and removing debris to prevent further flooding. As more rain was forecast overnight, experts noted that this storm severe a stark reminder of Italy's vulnerability to rapidly intensify weather patterns, highlighted the growing impact of climate change to southern Europe. Meteorologists attribute the storm to a collision between most Mediterranean air and cold Florence northern currents, which create conditions to supercell over central Italy. These sudden connective storms can release enormous energy in a very short time, explained Dr. Paolo Rinaldi, a meteorologist with the Italian Meteorological Service. The storm also causes significant damage to agriculture in the Lazio region, where vineyards and olive groves were hit as heavy hail, causing millions of dollars in damage. According to preliminary estimates, farmers such as Monaco Bianchi near Frascati described the event devastation as it destroyed two entire crews in a matter of minutes. Social media was flooded, with a video showing hailstones bouncing the historic moments, water pounding down the Spanish steps, and the residents wandering the frozen streets. Authority urged people to stay indoors, and emergency service working through the night to clear debris and restore transport. Experts warned that the storm this intensity may become more frequent due to climate change, with the increasing atmospheric instability and contributed to extreme weather events throughout the Mediterranean region. As night fell, Rome was transformed into a surreal scene, and its monuments glistered under the layer of ice. Streets were littered with the fallen branches and damaged cars, a stark reminder and unpredictable power of nature in the heart of the eternal city. Severe storms have struck Italy, Emilia-Romagna region, alleged torrential rain, hail, and powerful winds that caused flash flooding, power outage, and widespread disruption. The violent weather in the late Monday drenched cities including Bologna, Madeira, Ravenna, and Forlì, and leaving several communities underwater within an hour. Residents described scenes of chaos, and the streets turned into rivers and vehicles were swept away. The water rose so quickly that we barely had time to measure our car, said Luca Bianchi, a shop owner in central Bologna. It was like a city was drowned. Firefighters carried out more than 800 emergency inverters overnight, rescue standard motorists, and pumped water from flooded homes. In Ravenna, authority ordered evacuation after local rivers overflowed. Wide sections of the A14 motorway were temporarily closed due to landslides and debris. Meteorologists say the storm was triggered and the sharp drop in air pressure as warm, humid air from the Adriatic collided with a cold front descended from the northern Europe, a risk from intense thunderstorm. Italy is grappling with a severe flooding after days of relentless rain, particularly affected with the northern regions of the country. Torrential downpours have caused rivers to swell, boost their banks and inundate towns and villages. This latest episode of flooding has left authorities struggling to cope with the growing crisis, with thousands of people evacuated from their homes. The region of Emilia-Romagna, Lombardy and Veneto have been among the hardest hit. In Emilia-Romagna, widespread damage to infrastructure have been reported, with the roads submerged, bridges washed away and homes flooded. Several rivers, including the Po, the Angle, have reached critical levels, forcing emergency services to respond rapidly to prevent further damage. The situation has been compounded by landslides in hilly areas, blocked roads and isolated communities. In Venice, the city is too familiar to high water levels. Flood definitions were put the test. The iconic Most Barriers, designed to protect the city with the rising tides, were activated shelters to mitigate the Venice from the significant damage. However, other areas in the region were not so fortunate. Many towns and villages in Veneto region saw extensive flooding, with the residents forced to fare the higher ground. Culture representative warned that the addition of psychological storm urged me to adapt to climate change were needed to prevent Sicily identified to tourist economy. This is a symbol act to unity in the consulate across the Sicily, run by some territory as noon Tuesday, a moment of silence of victims assigns strength to serious. Sicily and no stranger to hardship. From the earthquake to volcanic eruption, they have endured a lot, but this storm, many say, was different, not just a natural disaster but climate warning through the wind and the water.
Meu Deus, o que é isso? Terminou com a minha casa. Terminou. Eu nunca vi na minha vida isso aqui, Jesus.
The land were deepened on the cast field destroyed. Power outage left more than 400,000 homes in the dark. Rail service were suspended and Palermo airport was severely disrupted. Businesses and county millets as losers, with tourism, agriculture and fishing particularly hard hit. Sicily famous citrus groves, olive trees and vineyards were flooded, raising fears to flood and shortage. Prime Minister Giulia Conti declared the flooding a national emergency, promising immediate funding to military support. We stand with the Sicily, she said. European Union official also pledged to assist with the barriers linking to the disaster and urgent need to action on climate change. Experts warn that climate change is intensifying on severe Mediterranean storms, and warning seas are contributing to more intense rainfall. Dr. Rilan Rossi, a climatologist, said. What we are seeing in Sicily, a venial future is urgent action to take no taking. As the water begins to rescind, thousands of people forced to painful task to rebuilding. Standing outside her destroyed homes in Palermo, Servia Rosa Ferraro said with the tears in her eyes, "The Sicilians are strong, but the storm was broken our hearts."
Questa è via Sant'Alessio. Guarda che roba questo. Guardate questo signore.
Rome, a city more accustomed to the golden sun, said that the ice storm was hit by an unusual hailstorm that covered its streets and the thick layer of ice. The sudden downpour, which lasted then an hour, brought daily life to the southern Celt, forced residents and tourists to try and understand the extent of the damage. Meteorologists incidents confirmed the hailstorm was caused by the collisions of warm Mediterranean air masses with a sharp cold front from the northern Europe. Strong updrafts formed hailstorm the size of a golf ball, which damaged roofs, smashed shop windows, and left cars covered in them. It caused chaos and transformation. Several metro stations were forced to close due to flooding and major roads turned into rivers and melted slush. Emergency service reported rescued dozens of people trapped in their cars, while firefighters rushed to clear a fallen bridge and the restore blocked drainage system. In 30 years of service, I have never seen a Rome suffer so much from ice, said the fire brigade representative. Hospitals across the capital treated dozens of people who were injured after slipper of ice sidewalks. Tourists visited landmarks such as Pizza Venezia and Spanish Steps described it surreal scene. We thought it was snowing, but the hail became so heavy that it hurt, recalled Anna, a tourist from Germany. Farmers in Lazio Rome, Italy. Rome was thrown into chaos as a sudden violent hailstorm struck at the city, transformed its cobblestone streets into rivers of ice and leaving a scene of destruction and astonishment. The storm arrived without warning late in the afternoon, bringing hailstones the size of large coins, thunder, lightning, and torrential rain. Meteorologists from Italy's National Meteorological Agency described the phenomenon as one of the most intense collective storms to hit the Lazio region in recent years. Senior meteorologist Dr. Elena Moretti stated, the combination of extreme heat and the sudden cold front triggered explosive atmospheric instability. Within the minutes, the sky darkened, and a hail pounded the city with a different force. Vehicles were damaged, white shields shattered, and roofs became impossible under a layer of ice. Fire departments received over 1,400 emergency calls, responded to rescue trapped drivers and pump out water from subway station and underground parking garage. Rome Civil Protection Agency urged residents to stay indoors and flash flood hits at the San Giovanni transfer. Meteorologists from the Italian Air Force Meteorological Center attributed the phenomenon of supercell storm. They explained it in a result from the sudden collisions between most air from the Tyrrhenian Sea and a cold front air masses moving south from the Central Europe. The constant created the perfect environment for the formation of giant hailstones, explained senior meteorologist Elena Moretti. Public transportation suffered severe disruption, with the metro line E temporarily suspended due to flooding at multiple stations. Major artery roads in the city experienced severe traffic conditions, paralyzed urban function. Authority urged residents to avoid non-essential outing, while drainage channels and roads continue to be clear. Experts warn this phenomenon is a part of concerned terrain. Climate analyst Dr. Paolo Rossi stated, these extreme weather events are not longer isolated occurrences, they are increasing in frequency and intensity, representing a direct sign of climate change impacting the Mediterranean basin. Amid the chaos, no fatalities were reported, though the several people sustained minor injuries from the flying debris. As a calm returned, Rome was reminded once again, ever is timeless, beauty cannot escape the growing fury of nature. Venice, Italy. The famous floating city was once again have been brought to a knee a worth of nature. During the night, a powerful storm hit Venice, accompanied by torrential rain, strong winds, and severe flooding, which left much of the city underwater. Waves crashed into a lagoon and gusts reached speed of over 100 km/h, raising the sea level on this highest point in this year. Residents are awakened to howling wind and southern on series of cities moist. A flooding protection system was activated to protect Venice with the rising waters. Despite the barriers, severe areas including St. Mark's Square and Rail Tower were flooded. We have seen floods before, but this was terrible. The water rose so quickly, said local shop owner Giulia Conti. Those business was knee deep in water. Tourists caught in a sudden storm wandered through the flooded alleys in plastic boats, with the rescue service walking through the night and the rescue standard residents to the secure boats and a heart broken loose at the day moored. Video posted on social media showed hailstones up to 15 centimeters in the side, with the Romans cleared sidewalks and shovels and brooms. Tourists near Colosseum and Trevi Fountain took shelters under umbrellas, captured dramatic footage and marble-sized ice balls bouncing for the ancient stones. Authority urged cautions for the nighttime. Temperatures dropped, tuning wet streets in a dangerously slippery surface. Public transport was severely disrupted, with the trams and buses delayed for hours. Rome Major Roberto Gallieri praised emergency service for their rapid response and promised to investigate the city drainage infrastructure, with his long been critical for the instability to the cope with a sudden downpour. Rome is facing for more recurrent and intense weather events. We must adapt our system. Climatologists note that extreme weather events, including hailstones in the southern Europe, have increased by 14% for the past decade. This is a clear signal for climate change, warned Dr. Elena Bianchi at the University of Bologna. Meteorologists say the storm dumped over the 8 mm of rain in just 1 hour, nearly half of rain average monthly rainfall. Experts link the event of growing instability of the Mediterranean climate. Falling the water, sea temperatures, ice sheets, storms are becoming more frequent or more destructive, said Dr. Erin Toferi, a climatologist of the University of Bologna. Video shared online showed massive hailstorm pelting the streets while the residents sheltered the cafes and metro station. In the suburbs, strong winds on the roof from buildings and left thousands without electricity. Major Roberto Giuliani was called to the emergency assessment, warning that the Rome outdated drainage system can no longer handle such tropical-style weather pattern. The storm here reignited debates about the Italy preparedness for the climate extremes. As one resident wrote on social media, Rome is drawing not from the history but from the neglect. Meanwhile, firefighters from all over Italy were sent to reinforce refuse force. Social media is flooded with the images and dramatic rescue operations. Children begin lifted from rooftops, elderly people begin to carry out throughout the waist-deep water, and pain being saved from the daunting. The hashtag Sicilia Scotta Aqua were become popular throughout the country. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni expressed solidarity with the region, promised no community will be left without the help. We will rebuild our support every affected family. Experts warn that the Mediterranean region is becoming increasingly vulnerable to such storm. In the recent report by European Environmental Agency, Sicily was identified as a climate hotspot facing rising sea levels, heat waves, and now extreme rainfall. As the sky begins to clear, attention turned to recover. Damage assessment, no ongoing to questions are being raised about the urban planning, drainage system, and early warning protocols. But for many Sicilians, healing will take no longer. As a Giulia Manga, whose home was destroyed, it said with the tears here years. We survived but not lost everything. Now we have started all over again.
Questo è un grosso problema, molto grosso. Porta via il negozio qua, adesso porta via macchine e tutto.
Its depths disappeared under murky water. Rural Sicily was not spared entire. The content of the tempest of olive groves and vineyard were ravaged. The gusts of Sicily, rich agriculture heritage which helped to their fields were submerged, their livelihoods momentarily wiped out the storm war. The damage of the agriculture sector is cornerstone of the Sicily economy is yet to be fully equipped, but early estimates suggest a significant impact. The storm has also rekindled discussions about the climate change and the increasingly visible impact. Scientists point to rising temperature in the Mediterranean in contrast of more frequent and intense weather patterns. This storm in Sicily is not an isolated incident but horrible to changing climate in respect not geographical barriers. Amidst the chaos have been hearing displays of resilience and solidarity. Communities have together to support avoided evacuation support to provide shelters to those displaced. Its depths disappeared under murky water. Rural Sicily was not spared entire. The content of the tempest of olive groves and vineyard were ravaged. The gusts of Sicily, rich agriculture heritage which helped to their fields were submerged, their livelihoods momentarily wiped out the storm war. The damage of the agriculture sector is cornerstone of the Sicily economy is yet to be fully equipped, but early estimates suggest a significant impact. The storm has also rekindled discussions about the climate change and the increasingly visible impact. Scientists point to rising temperature in the Mediterranean in contrast of more frequent and intense weather patterns. This storm in Sicily is not an isolated incident but horrible to changing climate in respect not geographical barriers. Amidst the chaos have been hearing displays of resilience and solidarity. Communities have together to support avoided evacuation support to provide shelters to those displaced.